We knew he had the ascetic, so the hierarch and the sword are the only things that we didn't know. The sword is bad news for me, because I'm going to be keeping cards in my hand, and he's going to be... The gaining life part is irrelevant. The damage to me is very relevant. So I draw a peak off the peak, and again, I'm going to cast that, so I can draw another card. Obviously, we know what's in his hand. That's no new information, but we do draw another cantrip. He now has to discard, and this is where I think he makes a key misplay. He discards Sword of Fire and Ice. Oh, not Fire and Ice, War and Peace. Now, if he could have saved that and put it on Thrun, with me keeping 6 or 7 cards in my hand, it drastically reduces my clock, and means that I basically have to win next turn. So I draw Manamorphose, and cast, as you can see, Serum Visions, Faithless Looting. I discard Mana Leak, and then away we go. So on his turn, he's going to cast Noble Hierarch. Sorry, that turn, that went through a little fast. I did flash back Faithless Looting, discarding Serum Visions, discarding Faithless Looting and Mana Leak. I drew the Faithless Looting off the Serum Visions. So now I have 2 in my graveyard, or 1 in my graveyard rather. But I do have 2 Pyromancer Ascension in hand. 1 that came off the Serum Visions, and 1 that came off the Faithless Looting. Mana Leaks right now aren't much good to me except in winning the counter war. I probably should have discarded a Flash Freeze, since nothing green really bothers me right now. I'm on a clock and I know it. So the question now becomes, how much do I get hit with? Well, it's just going to be 5. And he doesn't try and drop the ascetic, which again would have hurt my clock, because he knows I'm just going to counter it. So Flash Freeze in my hand. I have to try and land an Ascension here. Drop the island. Ascension is going to be the way I win this game. So if I don't try it, I know he has the counters to fight a counter war, and I know I can win that counter war. So negate is his only real play here. I can easily deal with the negate with a Mana Leak, and he either Spell Pierces it and watches me pay, Mana Leaks it and watches me pay, or lets it go. So obviously he's going to let it go. He could also have paid for the Mana Leak, but then he'd be tapped out. So knowing that, Pyromancer Ascension is on the board, why not cast the second one? So we have 2 Pyromancer Ascension in play, and 2 mana untapped. So anything dangerous here has to get countered. Now we know he has no gas except Troll Ascetic, and I'm holding Flash Freeze, so he can't pay for that. That's just a hard counter. He'd have to Mana Leak it, which means basically he's tapped out again. Or he could do that. Sword of Feast and Famine is going to hurt, because it untaps all his mana for the counter war, and it makes me discard. Fortunately, I'm holding a card I don't mind discarding. I have 2 Flash Freeze in hand. I can drop 1, that way the other one puts a counter on my Pyromancer Ascension. What I want to do here is Mana Leak, because it puts a counter on the Ascension, and it means he either doesn't equip this turn or he taps out. So there's an encounter on both Ascensions, which is going to be key, because I know if this resolves, I have to win next turn. I forget about the Spell Pierce though, and now I'm worried. He can go and get a Breeding Pool with that Verdant Catacombs, and have Mana Leak active. Or he can tap out to equip. Tapping out to equip does decrease my clock. So that's what he does. It also untaps all his lands. So we'll just click through the attack here. It's pretty obvious I'm getting smacked for 7, down to 8 life. I'm dead next turn. I'm pretty sure. If not dead, I'm down to 1, and I have to discard a card that I can't really afford to discard. So we've got two Pyromancer Ascensions with 1 counter on it. I'm facing down 7 damage minimum next turn. More if he draws another Hierarch. Things are not looking good for our intrepid hero. So Sulphur Falls gets played. I have Faithless Looting in my yard. So the first thing we're going to do is Manamorphose. Manamorphose is going to put a counter on the Ascension because it's right there. And now we have live Ascensions. That's 2 mana coming into my pool, a red and a blue, and I draw the Archive Trap. So at this point, Archive Trap mills his entire deck, but it also means I have to tap very low, and I know he's holding at least 2 counters. So we're going to have to play some more. Tap 3, Flashback Faithless Looting. Now, that's going to copy. So I'm going to see 4 cards here of my deck. Six cards, rather. So I discard a Flash Freeze off that, and I discard the Peak, which might not have been the best play, but Manamorphose with 2 active Ascensions is way better than a Peak. Sure, I could get to see his hand, but I already know what's in it, and I draw the same number of cards. I also net mana. So there's the Manamorphose again. Copied twice. No, he's not countering any of this. He's probably going to wait and see what I do to counter kill him. So we draw a Flash Freeze off the first one. And we're up to 4 mana in the pool. And a Manamorphose. So clearly we're casting that, and we're going to get another 3 copies. So we're netting 4 more mana. And we're just up to a ridiculous amount of mana in the pool right now. So that's going to take me up to 10 mana in my mana pool. I've drawn Remand and an Island and a Spell Pierce, or a Mountain, sorry. So, and now I have 2 Faithless Lootings to resolve. Crazy. First looting shows me Sleight of Hand and Flash Freeze. Obviously the Flash Freeze is going. And a Mountain goes. And then the second looting shows me Mountain and Spell Pierce. Mountain's going to go. Island's going to go. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 counters and an Archive Trap. I'm still not happy. I think the Sleight of Hand is the best play here, just because it gives me more options. I'm not going to lose by seeing more of my deck. I have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 mana available to me, so that extra 1 blue is going to let me see 6 cards, keep 3 of them, and it's going to possibly get me more counters. So that seems to me to be the correct play. So we get a Spell Pierce. We get an Archive Trap. We get a Faithless Looting. Although for the Pyroclasm wouldn't have helped there, so. And off the last copy, we get a Remand. There's literally no way I lose this game. There's the Archive Trap. There are the 2 copies. And there's the concession. Quick Crack Monkey. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you beat someone who's mana screwed playing BantBlade on 2 land, making a misplay. Thanks very much for joining me. I'm hoping to make a regular thing of this. Any suggestions, feedback, concerns, please do send them to me. I love to hear it. Unless your name is Jay Boosh, in which case you can suck on a lemon. Check me out on mtgcast.com. The podcast is called Horde of Notions. We talk about decks you can take to Friday Night Magic and just casual, semi-competitive deck building.